Hello and welcome back to Winners Bracket Round 2 of the ETS Invitational. We're going to go through the Round 1 results quickly and then hop right into our next match. So in Round 1, Ilya K on Felnscar Control defeated Mu2 on Callus 2-0. Toth 201 on Shimmering Combre defeated Frostrider on Combre Aggro 2-1. Shadowfire on Felnscar Control defeated Smune on Xenon Killers 2-0. Red World on Big Combre defeated Rhyme on Felon Control 2-0. Sir Rhino on Felon Control defeated Jarbo on Callus 2-0. I Read Minds on Big Combre defeated Vomi on Stone Scar Maulers 2-0. Unearthly lost. Unearthly playing Rakano, of course, lost to Kampfkrot playing Burn Queen 2-0. And then Captain D 2020 on Combre Aggro defeated Cyber Rage on Rakano Plate 2-1.
Yeah, and then we have Shed getting a 2-0 over Flowshoe on Stonescar Maulers. We had Loco Pojo beating Jay Knight 2-1, also playing Stonescar Maulers. So we got a Stonescar Maulers mirror that's going to be happening this round. We have Jocked advancing 2-1 over Calamdeer on Stonescar Midrange. Kaneda advancing 2-1, as we saw, over Alunga with the big Combre list. We have Jellomoose beating Swagson 2-0. Jellomoose on 4 faction control, hoping we're going to get to see that one later on in the bracket. We have Chronoside 2-0 over Komodo on Felnscar control. And at the bottom of the bracket, we have Bobbert Joe over DD Evett 2-0 playing Shimmering Combry. And Grizzly 2-1 over Thundershot playing Stonescar midrange. And I believe this round we are going to get to see Ilya K play Toth.
Yeah, this is a really exciting matchup. We have last season's Invitational champion, Toth 201, against last season's ranked ladder #1 player, Ilya K. And Ilya K also was dominating the leaderboards of the ETS this season with the most top 8s and the most finals appearances and the most ETS points.
Yeah, Ilya K considered by a lot of players to be one of the best players in the game. He has been killing it recently, and we're going to see if he can go ahead and bring home another win over the former and, I guess, defending champion of the ETS Invitational Series.
All right. So Toss deck is different from the traditional Shimmering Combre in that it's basically just a big Combre deck splashing in Scouting Party and Shimmer Pack.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we even see a deck playing Shimmer Pack still after the nerf. The nerf wasn't that big of a deal. Switching the cost from 7 to 8 isn't like too bad of a nerf, but it is like at least a nerf on the card nonetheless.
Yeah, the deck is certainly still viable, as much as I'm loath to admit it. But it definitely has lost some of its power to flip the board.
Yeah, and we see early out Ilya K just got a lot of removal in his hand, not that he's looking to cast any of it on these 1/1 Temple Scribes. Picking up a Steward of the Past, that's going to be nice. That's going to be at least something he can get on board that'll dodge most of Toth's removal.
Yeah, Toth's removal is basically just Vanquish and Scorpion Wasp. So as long as Ilya K doesn't attack into it, he'll be able to hold the ground with this Steward of the Past, at least until Shimmer Pack shows up.
Yeah, is Toth playing any Permafrost in this list?
Toth is not playing any Permafrost, no.
Okay, so yeah, no way to
Only in
lock
the sideboard.
Steward down. And we will see that Steward coming down on turn 4 for Ilya K, and this is going to pose a little bit of a threat for Toth. Like, it's not a big clock, but it is at least a minion that's hard to get out of the way, or unit rather.
Yeah, Ilya really needs to draw units in this matchup because all the Death Strikes and Suffocates and Annihilates and Tortures are pretty useless against Toth's tiny units that draw him cards when they come into play.
Yeah, and ooh, Ilya K picking up a Statuary Maiden here. That's gonna be pretty nice.
Yeah, that's one of the ways that Felnscar is able to win this matchup. Then your removal spells aren't just kill a 1/1 that drew a card, it's kill a 1/1 and get a 2/2 weapon to equip and start bashing.
Yeah, though it is true if Ilya K decides to cudgel up either of these units, the Vanquishes in Toth's hand go from being dead to actually being very live.
That's true, and I'm sure that Ilya has examined Toth's deck list and knows about those, and that's why he opted to not suffocate a unit before combat.
Yeah, and ooh, we see Toth picking up a second copy of Shiver Pack. It's gonna be a little unfortunate. Shiver Pack, not a card you're looking to draw multiples of. You really only need one so you can just transform the board one time and hopefully push your advantage with that.
Yeah, and Ilya K is able to attack without fear of Scorpion Wasp here because of the Torch and the Death Strike and Annihilate in his hand. So he's able to pressure Toth here, and Toth is going to have to defensively Shimmer Pack. And at that point, Ilya K will be free to start cudgeling up these units.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I'm curious to see if he's not just going to fire off the scouting party here and vanquish, and then go ahead and make a Shimmer Pack on the next turn, because it looks like he would be able to survive that way, right? Like he goes ahead and vanquishes the 5/5. There's only 5 power on the board, and then he makes scouting party. Like he could just let the units crash. Like the 5 damage wouldn't kill him.
Yeah, now that he picked up the scouting party, I do like that play. He does opt for the Shimmer Pack, however, and that's going to get punished really hard here. I think this actually is just a game, because Ilya K will be able to kill all of Toth's units here and then cudgel up.
What? Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
the interaction between the Shimmer Pack and Statue Maiden is such that if you the Shimmer Pack trigger on the stack, if you kill the Shimmer Pack becomes a cudgel. So then everything in play becomes a copy of Shimmer Pack, which is a cudgel. And cudgels can't exist on the board, so they're all destroyed. And I don't know if Ilya K knew that. The correct play there would have been to annihilate and torch the 2 smaller units that Top had. Let the Shimmer Pack resolve, turning all 3 of Ilya K's units and into 4/4s, facing down Toss 4/4. And then once Ilya K powers up again, Death Strike the 4/4 Shimmer Pack, equip the 2 cudgels he has, and attack for lethal.
As it stands, that was one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen in this game. We just had a whole board wipe, and that could just cost Ilya K the game, actually. Like, it's possible here for Toth to just go ahead and drop the Shimmer Pack, push 12 points of damage here, and basically put it on Ilya K to find an answer to all these tokens now.
Yeah, this is looking real bad. And you don't even get a window to respond with fast spells if your opponent only targets their own units with Shimmer Packs. So Ilya K was not even able to interrupt that by killing one with the Torch.
Yeah, he couldn't interrupt the transformation. That is one of those weird interactions that people have explored, where the window isn't given to you if you only interact with your own units. You never actually pass what's called that priority phase to the other player.
Yeah, just there was just a lot of very bizarre Shimmer Pack interactions in that game.
Yeah, there were some very weird ones. That is I actually played Shimmer Pack quite a bit, and even into when Felnscar was being played like a lot more on ladder after we'd seen it in some of the tournaments, and I've actually never seen that interaction. That's a little mind-boggling to just like wrap my head around. Oh wait, like he just basically used a full board wipe.
Yeah, hopefully Ilya K is able to shake off that little mistake he made and sideboard and play well in the game 2 and 3.
Yeah, hopefully so. Like that's gotta feel that's gotta hurt, man. That's gotta hurt, especially if he didn't know the interaction. Like I, in his position, probably would have made the exact same misplay where I would have just tried to clear it up. But it's just I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well. Like it doesn't sit well. It feels so bad to have like a full board wipe like that. But anyway, we're gonna get into sideboards here. And let's see what these players decide to pull out. Already seeing Ilya K over here taking out some suffocates. Looks like he's elected to drop a plague in.
Yeah, you just want to trim down on all of your 1/4 removal that's not very good against those little throwaway bodies of Shimmer Pack, and put in stuff like your Plague, like your Furnace Mage.
Yeah, and he's got the plague in. You just pull out backlash. Yeah, I think he actually did just pull the. No. He does have the backlashes in. Okay. And how many lightning storms is he playing main board? Ooh, we see sabotages in. I'm assuming that's also a sideboard card. I can't imagine he's playing that main board.
Yeah, that's also on the sideboard. It's a little less cut and dry against the Shimmering Combrade compared to basic Elysian Shimmer Pack, because they have some really powerful standalone units that you want to leave removal in for, like Knight Chancellor Seraph and Sandstorm Titan. Well, I guess they all play Sandstorm Titan, but Seraph in particular is not in the typical Shimmer Pack lists.
Yeah, you do have to leave some cards in for it. Though we do see him take out the. We saw him pull all his suffocates out, so we're not seeing him dedicate any removal to like that low end. He's trying to keep his removal more like open and flexible. But at the same time, like since you pointed that out, like it looks like he might have a hard time removing Seraphs rather without Death Strike.
Yeah, you need to count on Withering Witch, Black Sky Harbinger, board clears, or if you leave in Death Strike or Suffocate, that also can kill it.
Yeah, what out of Toth did we see? And let's go ahead and check his sideboard really quick. He's got the 2 Permafrost, the 2 Protects, some Combri Healers, some Decays, Stand Together, 2 Crystallizes, 3 Harsh Rules, and a Shimmer Pack.
Yeah, so you probably bring in your anti-removal cards, the Protects and that copy of Stand Together.
Yeah. Would you bring in Permafrost? That's an interesting question. Like, you know, your opponent's going to be playing some Champions of Chaos, some Bloodcasters, some Furnace Mages. I mean, it sucks to play Permafrost on the Statuary Maiden, but that's just about the only bad target in the deck.
Yeah, so Bloodcaster also isn't the greatest thing in Permafrost because they can still activate the ultimate to draw 2 cards, one from each deck.
Oh, right. I see. I always mess up the interaction with that and Seraph. Like, I always forget that Seraph has to exhaust to pump his ability, but the regular ultimates don't actually require that you exhaust the unit.
Yeah, since Bloodcaster doesn't exhaust, you can still ultimate it when it's stunned. Whereas Seraph specifically says on the card, like, pay 8 and exhaust Seraph to summon a unit.
Yeah, so
which you can't exhaust it if it's stunned.
Yep. Permafrost actually good against Seraph. Not as good against Bloodcaster. And we see Iliake, he's just tweaking his sideboard a little bit more. I wonder what else out of Toth. Yeah, I don't see too much else coming in here. We do see out of Iliake like the Furnace Mages coming in. I don't think those are in his main board, are they?
Yeah, the Furnace Mages are all in his sideboard. So
Yeah.
it's traditionally kind of a rough matchup going against this go wide Obelisk and Scouting Party deck with a control deck. But Iliake does have the tools. Like he has Lightning Storms to clear up Scouting Parties. He has Statuary Maiden, which is just one of the best possible cards against Shimmer Pack. Like, he can win this matchup for sure.
Oh, he can very easily win this matchup. Like the Champions of Chaos, the Statuary Maidens, all the deadly units that can just push damage can easily allow him to put his own clock up. And I mean, that's not even counting the cards like the Black Sky Harbingers, which if the board isn't Shimmer Packed or if it doesn't have obelisks down behind it, like a Black Sky Harbinger can easily just wreck a Shimmer Packed player's board.
Yep. And it looks like Iliake is respecting the big combo units, leaving in a couple Permafrosts, all his Death Strikes, and a couple Annihilates for the Titans and Seraph.
Yeah, and still finalizing some more sideboard options. So, and I think, okay, yeah, it looks like the players finally decide on their deck. So we should be getting back into game 2 right here. So it's going to be an interesting game. I mean, Iliake basically just has to, like, he almost had it there. Like, that's what's interesting is, like, he almost beat the Shimmer and Combri player, but due to that interaction with it actually wiping his board, he lost lethal.
Yep, the desire to be power efficient and that strange interaction kind of robbed him of a game that he, by all rights, should have won.
Yeah, he really should have. Like, you have to imagine, like, he could have just fired off the torch and then held the Death Strike for the other unit, and then, you know, just actually swung with the Shimmer Pack tokens that Toth had given him.
And that hand is all power in a Furnace Mage. You need a little bit more than that.
Yeah, we see him pitch it back. He's got the Withering Witch now in the Var's favor, which is a cute little interaction. And he has the Death Strike to clean up some of the early minions. But Toth, early hand, he's already got the Seraph, and he's got the Great Parliament, and that's going to be a really good card in this matchup.
Yeah, Toth also has the most important card in his deck, the Xenon Obelisk, but no early units to play, really. Like, just one Seraph.
Yeah, this is definitely it's going to be a little bit slower of a game out of him, but you know that's not too bad. Like he can afford to play, I think, this late game with Iliake a little bit. Like Iliake is the control deck, but
yeah, well, when you have Scouting Party and Xenon Obelisk in your deck, you're never sad going late.
yeah,
those cards are just so powerful.
And cards like the Great Parliament, and like getting out those 2 owls on your turn, or you know Seraph just pumping out a bunch of tokens. And ooh, copies of Find the Way, more Find the Way. I'm loving this enabling these 3 and 4 color decks.
Yeah, Find the Way is just the new card that I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I think a
So
lot of players were really excited when we saw Find the Way come down the pipeline. When it got announced, everybody was talking about how like 3 and 4 faction decks are going to be much better to play, and this was the resurgence since we had lost old secret pages.
yeah, so Ilya K here opts to not play anything on his turn 4 because he could not play Death Strike since his 4th influence, well, his 2nd Shadow influence came into play depleted. But it isn't going to be too punishing. Like, he'll just take an extra 4 from the Seraph, which is pretty whatever.
Yeah, and I think honestly, the way it ended up working out was like just fine. Like playing the Furnace Mage to turn late and actually being able to clean up the obelisk was really good there.
Yeah, and so Ilya has a Death Strike to clear up the Seraph. Toth has 2 more threats, but Ilya has an answer with the Withering Witch Vara's favor already, and his whole deck is answers, so he's certain to draw some more answers here. So I actually think that Ilya is looking to be ahead right now.
Yeah, he could get ahead. He could very easily get ahead. That Annihilate actually going to be a little stranded in his hand for now. Nothing's going to be a single color until we see these owls come out of the Great Parliament. Maybe it's Amber Acolyte, but I find it hard to believe that we're going to see Ilya K dropping a Annihilate into an Amber Acolyte.
Yeah, that feels horrible. I would I would never feel good doing that.
Yeah,
And
definitely
Ilya
not
drops
good for the
the
greatest.
Staff of Stories here, opting to take 3 damage on his armor in order to be able to power up and protect it.
Yeah, wants to go ahead and get that additional card draw, get it into play, and basically just telling Toth like, I want to see you make a move. Like, I want to see how you're going to try and deal with this. And we know Ilya K has some answers for next turn where he can get the Withering Witch in Vara's favor.
Ooh, Black Sky Harbinger, a very nice pickup. Now has the full Withering Witch Black Sky combo.
Yeah, and that combo is very nice. And this is interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess he doesn't have a reason why he can't just slow play this way with the Steward of the Past.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to hold on to the board sweeper as long as possible, just because Scouting Party beats you so hard if they're able to connect with multiple Yetis.
Yeah, definitely very true. And we see Toth. He goes ahead and he picked up a Desert Marshal. It's
So
it will be good. It will
here's
be
that.
good against the Black Sky Harb.
Yeah, Ilya has to Death Strike the Seraph on his next turn because Toth is going to hit 8 power. And then Toth is going to be able to Great Parliament, but Ilya has the Withering Witch Black Sky to clear those too. Plus the Staff of Stories to keep drawing 2 cards a turn all the while.
Yeah, this definitely looks like it's starting to. This game seems like it's starting to go very heavily in Ilya K's favor, even though Toth is holding really good cards. Like Seraph and Great Parliament in hand is usually a good enough position to be in.
Yeah, the only thing that might cause Ilya to lose this game is if he doesn't draw enough pressure. Like, he still needs to put a clock on Toth. Like, just 3 damage a turn isn't very much. And if Toth answers this Black Sky or this Steward of the Past, Ilya is going to have a very slow clock, and Toth will have time to draw a Shimmer Pack and recover.
Yeah, it's true he needs to put a bit of a clock on here, but we see Ilya K's hand, and like I'm imagining Toth is doing this in preparation. He's going to silence the unit and get it on board, and definitely with the second Great Parliament pickup, we're going to see him go ahead and put one of those down here. But the Withering Witch Black Sky Harp will be able to clean this up fairly easily. And whoa,
Yeah, that Desert Marshal was very good play. Like, it forced Ilya to use a Death Strike to protect his Staff of Stories. So now Toth's Night Chancellor Seraph might be able to run wild here.
yeah, this is very true. Like we have cleaned up basically all of the removal, and I mean Ilya K can get the Black Sky Harp down, and ooh, if he blocks here. And Toth wisely choosing not to block this 3 damage here. The Black Sky Harbinger would have been very punishing there.
Yeah, I think Ilya K can't afford to play Black Sky Harbinger here. Like, he needs to keep that Witch Black Sky Harbinger combo in hand, so he has to lose his staff here.
Yeah, you're right in that. It's just like, oh man, if he was gonna go ahead and commit the Death Strike to the 2/1 to preserve the staff, I felt like at that point, like you almost have to keep committing to that plan. But like he recognizes he's gonna need a way to clean these up. Like he sees the Great Parliament come out, he realizes there could be more. Like he's gonna have a way to sweep it up. But oh man,
Yeah.
it's starting to
Basically,
be.
Ilya K attacking with that Steward of the Past 2 turns ago, and Toth having that Desert Marshal just really turned this game around.
Yeah, it really did in a big way, though. I'm not sure. Not sure can even tell who's going to win this from here. Like that's what's so interesting is like this game can still go so many places. And if Toth decides wisely to wait, which I think he's going to before firing off this Night Chancellor Seraph, like he's gonna have to force Ilya K to answer right here with the Withering Witch and the Black Sky Harp. But that could give him the potential to just go crazy with Night Chancellor Seraph.
Yeah, EOK does not have another removal spell right now, but he does have a lot of pressure with Steward and Blacksky Harbinger.
This is true. It's going to matter a lot what we see picked up here off this Chancellor. Like, if Seraph picks up a really nice unit here, something like maybe a flying unit that can block the Black Sky Harb and kill it, that's going to make a huge difference. But we'll have to see.
Oh, another Seraph.
All right. We see the
Bwahaha. I love it.
Got to see the Bwahaha come out. And, you know, I mean, all the while, like, Ilya K is just pushing away with this Black Sky Harp, but Top picking the Sandstorm Titan up.
Yeah, just another incredible draw. Like, it was looking like Ilya K might have been able to fly over with the Black Sky Harbinger because Toth really couldn't attack because of this Deadly Statuary Maiden that would just increase the Black Sky Harbinger's power further. But now that Sandstorm Titan to ground the Harbinger, it looks like Toth is now the one who's far ahead.
Yeah, it really does. And we're going to see. Let's see if he decides to commit this to attack. Like, it's an interesting attack. I think he realizes he might need to get this through here just to get the Statuary Maiden like off the board. But at the same time, you can just ground the Black Sky Harp with the Sandstorm Titan and give yourself a few turns to, you know, stall out and go ahead and wait till you pick up enough of a board that you can take over Ilya K in one turn.
Yeah, what do you think Toth's plan is here? Is he going to play Titan and Disciple, or is he going to hold back a little bit?
You know, I have to imagine he's going to play like Titan into Marissan's Disciple, maybe with the Scorpion. Like maybe he'll go fetch the 1/1 Deadly to hold off like any unit that gets cudgeled up here.
Yeah, there's already no unit that can attack through the Sandstorm Titan, though, so it's interesting what unit you want to pick off the Disciple. Like, the Deadly is the best if the Titan stays around, but if the Titan gets killed, you want the Locust to chump block for a turn.
Yeah, true, but like I think you have to have the Deadly here because while you are correct, the cudgel can't make the Black Sky Harp punch through any of these units. He can just like gain some life with it, and he would be Toth would be forced to double block or even triple block and lose a bunch of his units for it.
Ooh, EOK going aggressive here. Furnace Maging Toth's Permafrost on his other Furnace Mage and swinging in with 3 units. Now, anything Toth blocks with is going to be killed when the Withering Witch comes down post-combat.
Yeah, that's a really interesting interaction that because the Withering Witch sets something's health to 1 and health is kept track of until the end of the turn, your unit will die if it's taken damage during the turn since it's technically set to a negative health.
Yeah, so it looks like this is gonna get that Titan gone and give Ilya K's Black Sky Harbinger free reign in the skies again.
Yeah, and oh man, it's a really interesting block here. Yeah, this might go a long way for Ilya K, just having the Black Sky Harp down.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to turn into a 5/7 lifesteal here. And oh, wow. So with this draw here, Ilya K now knows that Toth drew a Find the Way and does not have a Vanquish or Scorpion Wasp to answer this Black Sky Harbinger. So Ilya K is free to go in on it by putting the Cudgel on it and putting him on a 2-turn clock. Like, Toth will have to draw one of those 2 cards or lose.
Yeah, Tots is going to need to pull something big here to save him. I guess it is also possible for him to use the Seraph, but I mean, actually looking at the units on board, like Ilya K can afford WoW, and yeah, that Bear's Favor taking care of the Seraph does huge too. Like with that gone, this is going to be basically impossible for Tots to come back from. I have to imagine we'll just see like an ace play here.
Yeah, EK is thinking long and hard about what he wants to put this Cudgel on. It looks like he's going to put it on the Steward just so he can attack with 3 units.
Well, yeah, I think you go ace space here, and like I actually like putting it on the Steward too because it makes it survive the board. Like every single one of these units, with the exception of the Withering Witch into the Huru Envoy, is going to get him a trait now.
That's true. Yeah, that way Toth can't top deck a Shimmer Pack and flop the board over because he doesn't have any units. Yeah, you're right. That's a good play.
Yeah, and we have that down, and now, yeah, I mean, Toth picking up the Seraph, but like I don't think there's any activation here that's gonna
Yeah, well, Roland's honor guard would have been really good.
It would have been good, and I guess it does save him a turn. Like I guess actually I misspoke. Like he's still alive for one more turn since like he pulled the 12-12.
Oh, a
Ooh,
Destiny Shimmer Pack.
whoa. Hold
If
on,
you
this might
thought
have
this
just flipped
game
the
was
whole
over,
game.
you were sadly mistaken.
And this is why you don't count the game as over until it really is over. Like this is going to be a huge swing.
Wow, so since it was Destiny off of Talir, who sees beyond, Toth can still activate the Seraph and get another unit.
Oh man, this is getting out of hand really quickly. Like we're gonna see this. We're gonna see 12 damage come through with this Talir, and then we're gonna see a Seraph activation on top of it. Like, well,
I
actually,
don't
you
know if
can't swing
Toth
with
can
the.
attack.
Yeah, I was about to say.
If he attacks, he's dead to any removal spell.
Yeah.
Well, except 2 armor off the armor smith. Well, I guess that doesn't matter, but it's still amusing.
Well, it actually isn't like completely incidental. Like, true for this current board, it matters, but it's possible that like there was some sort of game plan where he might have been able to try and like chip him out over 2 turns with like the Withering Witch by itself trying to punch through. So this kind of shuts down like any small unit from like this shuts down like the token go wide strategy. Like Ilya K is gonna have to find something, and I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know if he just needs to hit a removal here and take out this Talir, but then you still have the Seraph to deal with. Ooh, Black Sky Harb.
Sandwich is a good place to start. That's lethal next turn.
Yeah, that's lethal.
So
All
now Seraph has to. Oh my
Oh,
goodness!
desert!
An ambush desert marshal or destiny rather?
and it's destinied. All right, so it's already coming down. Oh man. I don't know how many more twists I can take here. Like,
His Seraph and Talir hits were incredible for Toth.
oh wow, no, Tom, no, don't swing with it. Don't swing with it. Yeah, put that back. Put that back. You can play the long game here. Earn
I
this
think he's
victory.
safe to swing with it. He has 4 chump blockers now for Ilya K's 4 units.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like you're right. You're right. Like he is safe here. You are correct. This probably is correct, but it's just like I'm trying to think if there's like any possible out that just like kills him here. Like even the blockers won't stop. Permafrost's gonna. Oh man, and like look at Ilya K. Like he hovered the Talir for like a second. And he's just like, can I even afford to permafrost this?
Yeah, that doesn't actually do that much. Like it'll still destiny the units, but I guess then Ilya K isn't dead and gets some more draw steps towards Withering Witch, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. And like this is actually interesting that he's only attacking with the 4-4-5-7 and 3-5 because this does give this gives Top the option to just double block the 5-7 here.
Yeah, well, I think Ilya K has to attack and can't attack with a 3-5 because it'll just get bounced off of by a 4-4.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, but like if you attack with the 3-5 and it bounces the 4-4, then like the 5-7 doesn't get double blocked. Like I guess that's the line of play I'm looking at is like I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't just like swing with it there.
I guess from if you think that Toth probably just chump blocks the 4-4 then with his Desert Marshal.
Yeah, exactly. Like he might just like chump block the 4-4, but then like you're still getting like I guess it is like a slightly worse trade, but
I mean, you also have to worry about just dying on the crackback too.
That's true. Like he does have to worry about just dying here.
That's on the lower end of hits.
Yeah, not great. He does have the Xenon Obelisk though. It's going to give everything 2/2, and I can't really push here. Well, you might be able to actually push the 6/6. Like I think you can attack with the 6/6 safely, but you have to at least keep the 4th back. And we're probably just going to see this crack face. Yeah, Ilya K deciding not to block that unit at all.
Alpha Stories gains 5 health here, but that's about it.
Yeah, and oh man. Oh, Marissa Disciple Destiny. Oh, can we just see the Cascade? Like, I just want to see the Cascade. Like,
yeah,
that totally happens, right? Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Shimmer Pack. Wow, this series of Seraph into Talir, into Shimmer Pack, into Desert Marshal, it was just unbelievable.
Oh man, what a game! Like, what a game. What are these pulls? Like, I wanted to see it so bad. I've always dreamed ever since I was a little Eternal player that one day I would see Talir cascade just like unit after unit onto the battlefield. Like every time I look at that card, I'm like, this card could be so good. It's not, but it could be. I just want it to be so good. And finally, I got my wish. Thank you, Seraph, for pulling out a 12/12 Talir, making my dreams come true.
Yeah, I didn't think that we would see a Talir dominate the battlefield here at the Invitational, but that's what we just saw.
That was those were amazing draws, like amazing Seraph hits, and then just an amazing series of like top decks with Talir in place. Hey, what
Yeah,
a game!
like the
Oh,
Talir definitely made it more spectacular. But if you think about it, even without the Talir, Toss still would have drawn the Shimmer Pack and then drawn a power, but then the turn after drawn a Desert Marshal. No, so I guess he would have died because that Desert Marshal needed to be hit that turn to silence Elia K's Blacksite Harbinger. So yeah, Talir just wins that game. It's unbelievable.
oh man, that's like that. Oh, that is one of the craziest games I have ever witnessed of Eternal. Like, oh man, the power of Seraph. Like the power of Seraph. Like who needs to put Talir in your deck when you can just rip it out of Seraph?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna qualify it. That is the craziest game of Eternal I have ever seen.
Oh man.
I think
I need a breather after that one.
that
I need to like catch my breath. I'm just like
Yeah, so
trying to
as
soak it in.
absurd as that ending was, I think the turning point really was when Elia K swung with his Steward of the Past while he had out a 2 armor Staff of Stories early on. It forced him to Death Strike a Desert Marshal. And if that Death Strike had been able to hit the Seraph or the Talir several turns later, then Elia K would have pulled that game out.
Yeah, it's very true. Like that death strike on that 2-1, it felt so bad. Like I'm not sure. You're quite possibly right. Like I would like to go back and see how that game plays out if he doesn't death strike the 2-1, if he just lets the staff come off. But either way, like what an incredible game.
Yeah,
Like
I cannot complain. That was one for the ages.
I
Stick that
am
on the highlight reel for sure.
Yeah, that's going in the highlight reel. Like, I am so happy we got to see. Like, both of those games were actually really great back to back. Like, first we get to see the crazy Statuary Maiden Shimmer Pack interaction, and then we get to see Seraph just go off.
Yeah, just
Uh,
the absurdity. Just the absurdity.
Man, I'm still like trying to figure out like what to say even at this point.
Yeah,
That
I
was
got the shakes. So
like what a play, man. What a play.
all right, well,
I am immediately crafting the rest of my Seraphs. Like that's done.
all right. I